Hey guys, Alex and Amelia here. We miss you. We've been praying for you. We've been praying for your families. We hope you're staying healthy. We hope you have toilet paper and you have whatever you need, all the food. It's crazy out there. People have been fighting for things that are ridiculous. But in this time that we are being forced to stay away from each other, we've been trying to figure out a way that we can connect with you and we can stay engaged. And last week we started a series called Doubt It. What a timely topic.
Yes.
Because many of us are asking questions. And we have doubts, like what's going to happen today? What are the next news? What's the president going to say? What's the next announcement? And many of you probably asking questions like, okay, when are we going back to school?
You don't
Probably not.
No,
You're probably not thinking about when you're back to school. But hopefully you're trying to figure it out, okay, how are we going to go through these classes, this online system? Or maybe you're asking deeper questions. Maybe you're asking, what is God trying to do during this time? We're excited that next week we have a plan, so Amelia's going to tell you about the plan.
The goal is to be able to connect and for you to be able to see other teens and other teen leaders. So we started the lessons on Doubt It, and we are going to have different teens and teen leaders do recording like we are now with you, and they're going to read a scripture and just like in a quiet time be able to share what they're learning and what the Spirit is really moving within them. It's a way for us honestly to continue to connect with one another and more importantly connect with God.
We want to ask you that when we send these videos, interact with you. You make comments, ask questions, put things that we want to pray, that we can pray for you. Say hi, connect. We want to see that we're interacting with you, that we're reaching you. We want to really know if we're reaching you. The quiet time for this week is from Hebrews chapter 4, 14 to 16. Amelia's going to read that for us.
Starting in verse 14, it reads, "Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has ascended into heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith we profess. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need."
The main idea for this quiet time is that you're not alone in your questions. The thing that this scripture makes me feel is that somebody can relate to me.
Yes.
I've always remember thinking about how encouraging it is that Jesus can relate to me.
Definitely.
Like that he went through things, that he experienced, that he was tempted in every way. I mean, I've always
Tempted and didn't sin.
and didn't sin.
Yes.
But I've always thought, like, was he tempted with the things that I'm tempted with? Well, there was no internet back there. There was, I don't know, things were different.
Or maybe not so different.
Yeah, well, there was no internet back then.
That's definitely the difference. But as far
But
as
the
like
feelings, the temptation, the emotions,
yes,
the things that I can experience, I'm sure that that's what the scripture's talking about. He can relate to me. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like Jesus can relate to you?
It reminds me of when you have someone you admire, and that you admire them because they've either put in the work and they've had to say no to things to be able to accomplish something. And I think the same applies with Jesus, is that he was all God, but he was all man. And so he has left this great example that we can imitate. And we know that if he was tempted just as we are, yet he had this ability to also choose. It makes me realize, wow, I have that ability to choose. I have that power from God and that encouragement to be able to make at times difficult choices, but are better, good choices.
I mean, what do you feel like? Can you relate to that? Can you think about, can Jesus relate to you? To your temptations, to your challenges? The scripture that I always think about, it's in Matthew 26. It says, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." This is Jesus at Gethsemane, and he is having a hard time. It's always kind of difficult for me to think about that he had to suffer and that he went through this moment of anxiety and fear, and that he even didn't want to do this. Like, he was experiencing kind of like what we feel, doubts and fear. I've always loved that he went to his Father. I mean, it's just great that he was able to be honest with his dad. It helps me think about, okay, I need to be honest with God first. I can be honest with my questions, with my challenges. But then it doesn't end there, because I can talk to you. You know, I can talk to you. I can talk to my friends. I can talk to spiritual advisors, and get help and just feel better. You know, just get better. I'm not alone, right? I'm not alone in my questions, and no, and you're not alone in your questions too.
Verse 16 is definitely for me where it talks about I can approach with confidence. When I read that scripture, I definitely think of how when I'm being polite and cordial and I'm like, hello, hi, and then with friends, with family, there's that informality, there's that confidence, and it's like, what's up, or hey, like it's just such a different, like, or sometimes I even forego the welcome and I go straight to like, did you hear about, and I just go straight to whatever, because when you're in that level of comfortability and trust, and you can just go straight to the real stuff, and you can talk about, you know, how hard a day has been, or you can talk about the things that are going good. You're like, oh, I just got my hair cut, you like it? And you can feel like the person knows, yeah, you did get a good haircut, I like it. Actually, the boys want to get a haircut now that they see that the dad got a haircut. They're like, I want to go get a haircut. So those kinds of things, you just with people that you are safe with and comfortable with, you can just get right to, and they know you, they know your heart, and you don't have to be concerned about how you're perceived. And that's how we are with God, that we can approach him with confidence and a realness. I think even just thinking that you have to be perfect or prepared before God, you know, that we're in a place where we should be able to just know that he's there for us and we can go to him.
Yeah, it makes me think about my kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 4, well,
soon to be 2.
Soon to be 2 and soon to be
4.
And Max, so older, he always is asking why. Why this? Why can't I have more candy? Why do I have to go to sleep? Why?
He feels very comfortable and confident to ask his daddy things.
Yeah, but what I think is, you know, it just comes out of him.
Yeah, it's natural.
Like, he's not thinking, let me see if I ask my dad this.
He didn't sit down and write down all these questions.
No, it really just comes
from the heart.
It comes very natural. It's like, I have this question, like, how, I'm just gonna ask. And you know, and he asks and keeps asking, why can I have more candy? Because you already had some candy. And why? Why can I have more? Because you're gonna get cavities. And he just keeps asking. It'd be great for us to have that heart, for, you know, towards God. God, what are you doing? What is this? What is this happening? And again, we see that in Jesus. He goes to his Father, and we want to encourage you to do that. I mean, again, this is what we're going through too. You know, we're asking a lot of questions. We have doubts. We're all trying to go to this together, and you're not alone. You're not alone in your questions. You're not alone in your spiritual questions. We're all going through this together, and the questions are normal. And what I see here is that, you know, we have Jesus who empathizes with us, who is tempted in the same way, who struggles in the same way. He can relate to us.
I think my encouragement is, yes, we may not be around one another, but there are ways that we can still connect. And I mean, even with reading the scripture, I know for me, I become curious and I read before the scripture, I read after the scripture. Who knows, maybe even with everything, that through the fear, that in faith we can choose to see what more God is doing. And a part of doubt, at one point you still have to choose to trust. And this time at home, this time with family, or even just a phone call, hearing someone else's voice is maybe God's way of also allowing us, enforcing us a Sabbath in a way, to restore, to get closer to him and get closer to our immediate family, and be creative about it.
I think we're all good to go here. So I'm just gonna put this things away. Hey guys, we love you.
We love
you.
you.
Can't wait to see you again. Hopefully see you soon. We'll be praying for you. Take care.
Mwah.
Hey.
Bye.